Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is in a pretty interesting place over the next year through 2026, and this could be good or bad for us, who knows yet. With the majority of the most hype and anticipated characters being added into the game through the Season 1 pass, it's hard to really predict where we could go from here after only 1 year of the game. However, next year is already looking really promising for not only Dragon Ball games, but the Dragon Ball franchise as a whole. In January, we're scheduled for a huge, maybe even the biggest Dragon Ball event of all time, happening on January 26th. Now, we've already made an entire video on this event in the past, but here, we're anticipating major announcements. Not only 2 Dragon Ball projects getting announced, but there will also be a reveal for another Dragon Ball game as well. But what could this mean for the future life of Sparking Zero, the game that was supposed to be their baby for the next 5 to 10 years? Well, we also have Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour to look forward to in, I think, April if I'm not mistaken. So at one of these events, I do expect for a big announcement for a Season 2 DLC pack for Sparking Zero to be announced. But what could this even look like? And depending on what event announces and reveals the next season, we could even potentially see some early footage. Dragon Ball Super Superhero and Dragon Ball Daima, the most recent and most anticipated content from Dragon Ball, has been the focal point of Sparking Zero over the first year since its release. Beast Gohan, Orange Piccolo, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, and Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku were all groundbreaking additions to the game, but there has been no word, no teasers, or anything about if anything in the future could even compete with the previous year's DLC. In this video, I want to talk about the things that Sparking Zero has done well over the past year and what I hope to see moving forward, more so focusing on the characters. As we know, Bandai does watch a lot of these videos from people in the community, so if you guys can think of anything in particular you want to see from Sparking Zero moving forward, be sure to leave it down below in the comments. I'm sure somebody somewhere could potentially see this video. First off, I want to give Sparking Zero a little bit of credit. Even in the dead periods or multiple weeks upon months of drought we experienced over the past year, they still tried to implement necessary updates periodically. The single and DP battle updates have been decent, the character adjustments have been good for the most part, so in one sense I really hope that they keep up with the frequent updates, but when it comes to characters, I really have no clue who would be good enough to headline 3 more DLC packs for Season 2. At the top of my personal list, I would probably have to say that GT needs an update on the roster because the initial package that they have right now in the game is pretty small. Super 17 at this point might be the most anticipated character that's been in past Tenkaichi games but got skipped over for some reason on the base roster for Sparking Zero. Besides Super 17, Ice and Nova Shenron would probably complete the GT roster in this game, even though I think there's more characters that I would love to see in the game from GT, like Baby, or I guess Young Baby that we have in Genshin Squadra, GT Vegeta pre-Super Saiyan 4, and even a character like Rildo, but Super 17 is a must moving forward in my opinion. In other regards though, OG Dragon Ball has long since been rumored to have additional characters coming to Sparking Zero since the reveal of Kid Goku in the movies trailer, I think it was, being the only OG Dragon Ball character so far. Now, this character pack in particular could be way more expensive than GT since we already have a decent GT roster so far, and we only have Kid Goku from OG Dragon Ball. Me personally, I would love to see Demon King Piccolo, Mercenary Tao, Devilman, even Arale, who have all been in previous Tenkaichi games before, could potentially make an appearance moving forward. Even if these 2 packs could eventually be included in Season 2 though, I don't think they'd get nearly the sales of a Beast Gohan or a Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku, so this is kinda where my worry lies for the future of content for this game when it comes to DLC characters in particular. Now, I do think moving forward that they will implement more things, like we saw the implementation of a new stage get added in the recent Dragon Ball Daima DLC, so I think moving forward they definitely need to do things like that, amongst a lot of other things too, don't get me wrong, but I wanted to really focus on the characters themselves in this video. These new project announcements at the event in January could potentially give us the new content that we need in Dragon Ball games, which is why I'm pretty optimistic, at least right now. With the introduction of Shallot and the surprise extra DLC from earlier this year, I am really excited for the possibility of Android 21 potentially being added to the game, with the possible DBFZ collab extra DLC like they did with Legends, and maybe even a Kakarot collab with the new Ginyu Force character that was introduced there as well. My apologies, I do forget her name. Of course, until otherwise proven wrong, I still think the game announcement next year could be Xenoverse 3, which will definitely become the priority Dragon Ball game over Sparking Zero, over Squadra, and everything else. So in order to stay afloat, because Sparking Zero doesn't have the replayability in my opinion as a Xenoverse 2, because of the constant updates and events that game gets, they really need to hone in on what the next season DLC is going to bring. And I haven't even gone into things like customizations, extra stages, crossplay that they said they were working on over a year ago, etc., which are also going to be a major selling point for the future of Sparking Zero as well. I mean, I've been saying this for months at this point. We were promised massive customization options before this game released, never forget. And according to literally anyone you want to ask, I bet that there will not be a single person in the comments that will refute this otherwise. The customizations have been extremely underwhelming in this game. But until the very end, I'm gonna have faith that Sparking Zero can turn this around at some point, and I hope you guys do too. That's gonna do it for this one, ladies and gentlemen, but let me know if you agree with what we pretty much laid out here for the potential season 2 of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I mean, they have a decent amount of content to pick from as far as DLC characters go. GT, OG Dragon Ball, Android 21, more stages, more customizations, more gameplay and character adjustments. I mean, the ball is completely in your court, man. I mean, literally any of these things would be amazing, on top of some other things that obviously we talked about before that you guys definitely need to implement. DLC characters are like the easiest way to get the community back on your side, even though it's only momentary. And that's something that I feel like needs to be understood as well. DLC characters are only a band-aid and temporary distraction from the true issues that cause people to leave the game en masse after only a few months, but it's at least a start. So as I said in the beginning, guys, leave down below in the comments anything you want to see in a potential season 2 for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I limited myself to DLC characters in this video because we talked about a lot of the other issues and a lot of the other things we were really hyped for and anticipating in past videos, and not so much the future content itself. But you guys feel free to state any improvements you want addressed outside of DLC characters in the comments. Love you guys, always happy to talk about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero because I truly want this game to live for a decade like Xenoverse 2, but it's gonna take a concerted effort. Anyways, guys, have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out, my boys.